Hey everyone, so I've got another deck profile for you today. I've got a regional coming up this weekend, so I kept building some stuff and playing around with things and just wanted to show it to you. So today I've got a more control-based deck because I've been showing you a bunch of aggro stuff. But today we've got Jemial Luna, which was, the premier kind of control deck in the meta before Revelations came out. I think if you were to play it the same way as you did back then, though, it'd be a little too slow. But I did see a couple at some regionals at the beginning of the format that actually were almost similar to the original meta, and they topped. So what the heck do I know, right? But anyway, this is my version of the deck. So let's just get into it. We'll start with the blue cards. So starting us off, like with any blue deck, you want to play your 3 Mr. Kins. He's your guaranteed counters on Jemial every turn if you want to, and he gets to look at the top 2 cards of this deck, which are very important because we do play the Shard-Mecha units in here. It's nice because it combos with Jemial and also Luna's special Shard. And Mr. Kins allows you to see what cards you might possibly mill. On top of the drawing the cards and keeping your hand size consistent to deal with some aggro decks. So we continue to play Azure Guardian, but I've cut mine down to 2. It's still a very high value unit with the 2 cost and 2,000 power, but the last thing I want to be doing is sitting there. I kind of want to push for some damage early on, trying to get rid of some key units of your opponents, and also trying to break the wind and the fire tower as usual. So I still run 2 Kako. I actually really like this card. I've seen some people be down on it. I actually think it got better after this new set because it's a direct counter to Aragon, in a sense. And also it got a new toy, which is Treat. Treat being able to send anything from your deck to the graveyard and then having Kako put it back on the top of your deck is really nice. So that's one of the combos in here, digging for, Mei-Yu or the new Jemial, things like that. And then having Kako put them back on the top of the deck is, makes a control deck faster. So I really like this card, and I think it got better after the new set. So I still run 2 Juggernaut. Juggernaut is still one of the best cards in the game. There's not a whole lot of counters to it. Most of the counters are higher cost, which you can't really play anymore nowadays. You still can, but they're not as relevant. So if you end up getting him out, a lot of these aggro decks have trouble getting over him still. So we still play Mei-Yu. This card is probably the best card in the game right now. No reason not to play it. The 6 cost actually is very high in this current format. Getting to turn 6 sometimes can be tough, but if you get there, yeah, you're in a real nice position to win. So I do play the new Jemial. I do like this card. Being able to replenish your hand if you need to exhaust a lot of resources to get to the late game, this can be really clutch. But also being able to summon this and then bring out Mei-Yu or Juggernaut is really nice. Or this guy. I really like Leviathan for this reason. Also, he's a destroyer, which is kind of needed in this deck. You don't have a whole lot of ways to break towers. Taking control of a unit, there's a lot of big units that come out for cheap in the game right now, which is like Great Behemoth or the new Valkyrie card for light. So this card's pretty nice right now. So now moving on to the spells. We do play the 3 Phantasmal Guards just to help us in the early game and put the 2 counters on Jemial. Not a whole lot to say here. It's just a solid value card. We also play the 3 Ancient Serpent's Breath. This card is fantastic. It's still good. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where it's not good. So yeah, nothing else to say here other than fantastic card. There's no reason not to play it in blue. I do play the 3 Phantasmal Storm. It's just very high value, and then being able to Shard Drain to add another one to your hand is very nice. Being able to get rid of those problem Repper Blooms is really good. One of the best additions to blue in the new set. I still play 3 Mizu. I still think it's probably the second best Omega Magic behind Yami. Very nice being able to exhaust big destroyer units or something like that, to get you to the late game. Really nice. And then also just, being able to bounce things, bounce tokens, bounce Reparbloom tokens, anything like that. Still solid card. And I do play the one Chronostasis. It's very hard to get this off because aggro decks, can kill you in turn 3 or 4. So I still play the one just because it is a very good board clear. And if you get to the late game, it's gonna swing, the tempo in your favor. And also if you're playing against a control deck, it's a really nice out to, opponent's Juggernauts and things like that. So now moving on to the black cards, I play 2 Treat. So Treat pairs well with our big guys that we want to see at certain times in the game to send them by sacking off, like a Mr. Kins in the late game where he's not as useful, to dump maybe a Leviathan or Jemial or Mei-Yu. Also, it's nice to use on the Shard-Mechs to get Yugo to hand and dump his other units. So that's why we play Treat in here. We also play the Yami to pair with Treat and also some of our key cards like Kako. So Yami is still a very key piece in this deck, and also being able to bring back any of the Shard-Mecha beast are a very nice combination with Yami. And then being able to dump something with Jemial, like one of the maybe Tsubasa or something like that, and then bring it back with Yami for a cost of 2, and then start trying to take out your opponent's Reparblooms, things like that. It helps speed up the blue deck. So we also play 2 Ghostly Demise. Just a mass board wipe on tokens is really nice for free. Or being able to, clear Reparbloom or something like that by expelling 2 units. You really don't interact with your grave too much in this. You do have some key combos and key cards that you don't want to expel, but this can come in the clutch, so you still need it. It's a mass board wipe for a 2 cost, so anything to get us to the late game. And then I still play the one Golem of Vengeance. I still like this because it's a destroyer, being able to bring this out. And then look at a key card in your opponent's hand. Still very beneficial, so I do still play this. I play it over Demon of the Evil Eye because of the destroyer ability. So then, like I said, I do play the Shard-Mecha archetype in here. I play 2 of each of the little guys and then just 1 Yugo. I don't need 2 Yugo. You're going to bring Yugo to your hand. It's never really going to be in the grave for your opponent to get rid of it, unless they get rid of it with the Darkness Tower and then banish it with Bone Scavenger or something like that. But yeah, that's not going to come up often. So we run these because it gives us more of an aggro approach to blue in the mid game to get us to the late game. It pairs really nicely with Treat, being able to get rid of any of these guys with Treat. To search for the other piece and then dump the other pieces to get Yugo to hand quickly is really nice because it gives our control deck a mid game, like I said, to get to the late game. If you can get this out, turn 3 or 4, this is fantastic because then you can just cruise to the late game and control from there. But being able to treat any of these guys to the graveyard is really nice. Or one of my favorite things to do is, dump them with Jemial. Off of Jemial's draw, dump this, and then bring it back with a Yami to get rid of problem cards with, Brawler or the target attack ability. So that's a very nice combination with this blue-black deck. And I think the Shard-Mechas really add a nice little combo to this. It feels more control-y to me, this archetype, which is really nice. And it fits perfectly in blue, which I think is still really strong, and it's just been a little overshadowed because of all the new aggro cards. But if you're going to regionals, I would expect to see a solid blue control deck. I don't know if it'd be running this, just because, all of these ideas that I have are just theory. Please don't take them as this is the best or anything like that. I've never proclaimed to have the best idea. I just kind of come up with what's in my head and then put it on video for you guys to look at and dissect. But So those are the cards, the units and the spells. I'll show you the towers and the shards. So for the shards, we run the 6 standard. We run the 1 Corona. It's still the best legendary shard in my opinion, so we still run that. And then we do run 3 of the Nightmare Crystal, which allows you to send the top card of your deck to the discard zone. Like I was saying, it kind of pairs nicely with Yami. You know, and Mr. Kins, being able to see what you want to send with that. And then Yami something back. Also being able to mill any of your Shard-Mecha units. You know, if you need, you know, that last one for your Yugo, if you drew it the hard way. So that's where that comes into play. And it's a very nice little complementary piece to the deck. So that's why we play these. And for our towers, we do run 4 of the originals. So we run the darkness, the air, the light, and the fire. And then I actually run the new water. I like it in here because with this being a control deck, whenever you're playing against those aggro decks, you're going to run into monsters that are breaking the 1500. And they're going to be breaking it earlier than you, so you're going to be down towers. The other thing is, it's more important to draw for a key card in here, like Treat or Chronostasis or Yami, than it is to draw 2 cards. You're going to have plenty of cards in your hand with Jemial's ability. So that's why I'm running that. I've been testing it, and it's not bad. So yeah, that's the deck, guys. I hope you like it. It's a little different than what I've been showing you, which is a little more aggro. You know, let me know what you think. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. Zeppelin out.